What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Devil's in the Details. I'm BD.
Who am I?
Philip Bradley Bird, aka Brad Bird, is an American director, screenwriter, animator, producer, and occasional voice actor.
What are you talking about?
Bird developed a love for the art of animation at an early age and was mentored by Milt Kahl, one of Disney's legendary 9 old men.
He was part of one of the earliest graduating classes of the California Institute of the Arts alongside John Lasseter and Tim Burton.
Afterwards, Bird worked as an animator for Disney in 1981's Fox and the Hound and in 85's The Black Cauldron.
He wrote the screenplay for Amblin Entertainment's 1987 film, Batteries Not Included.
Bird served as the creative consultant on The Simpsons during the first 8 seasons, where he helped develop the show's animation style.
Afterwards, he rejoined Lasseter at Pixar in 2000, where he would develop his second picture, The Incredibles, and his third picture, Ratatouille.
Both films placed among Pixar's highest-grossing features and gave Bird 2 Academy Award wins for Best Animated Feature and Academy Award nominations for Best Original Screenplay.
In 2011, he directed the live-action film Mission Impossible: Ghost Protocol, which became the highest-grossing and best-reviewed film in its franchise.
His second live-action film, Tomorrowland, starring George Clooney, was released in May 2015.
But today we'll be discussing his directorial debut, his very first animated feature, 1999's The Iron Giant.
The film is an American animated science fiction film using both traditional animation and computer animation and was produced by Warner Brothers Feature Animation. I don't know if I said animation enough times.
The origins of the film lie in the 1968 novel The Iron Man, written by Ted Hughes, which was published in the United States as The Iron Giant. Hughes had written the novel for his children.
The film was scripted by Tim McCanlies from a story treatment by Bird.
The film stars the voices of Eli Marienthal, Christopher McDonald, Jennifer Aniston, Harry Connick Jr., John Mahoney, and Vin Diesel as the titular character.
I am Groot.
Set during the Cold War in 1957, the film is about a young boy named Hogarth Hughes who discovers a giant metallic robot which fell from space.
With the help of beatnik artist Dean McCoppin, they attempt to prevent the US military and Kent Mansley, a paranoid federal agent, from finding and destroying the giant.
The film's development phase began in 1994 as a musical with the involvement of The Who's Pete Townsend.
Townsend chose to adapt the book for a concert album. It was released as The Iron Man, a musical, in 1989.
In 1991, Richard Basley, who later became the film's lead animator, pitched the version of The Iron Man to Don Bluth while working at his studio in Ireland.
He created the story outline and character designs, but Bluth passed on the project.
You cannot pass!
After a stage musical was mounted in London, Des McAnuff, who had adopted Tommy with Townsend for the stage, believed that The Iron Man could translate to the screen, and the project was ultimately acquired by Warner Brothers Entertainment.
In late 1996, while developing the project on its way through, the studio saw the film as a perfect vehicle for Brad Bird, who at the time was working for Turner Feature Animation developing Raygun.
Turner Entertainment had recently merged with Warner Brothers' parent company Time Warner, and Bird was allowed to transfer to the Warner Brothers Animation Studio to direct The Iron Giant.
After reading the original Iron Man book by Hughes, Bird was impressed with the mythology of the story and in addition was given an unusual amount of creative control by Warner Brothers.
This creative control involved introducing 2 new characters not present in the original book, Dean and Kent, setting the film in America and discarding Townsend's musical ambitions.
Townsend didn't care either way, reportedly remarking, "Well, whatever, I got paid." He is credited on the film as executive producer.
Can't always get it when you really want it. You can't always get it at all.
Bird's pitch to Warner Brothers was based around the idea, what if a gun had a soul?
He expanded upon his desire to set the film in America in the 1950s in a later interview saying that setting the film in Maine gave it an idyllic Norman Rockwell look on the outside, but inside everything was just about to boil over.
Everyone was scared of the bomb, the Russians, Sputnik, and even rock and roll.
This clenched Ward Cleaver smile masking fear, which is really what the Kent character was all about.
Hey there, Scout. Kent Mansley. Work for the government?
It was the perfect environment to drop a 50-foot-tall robot into.
The project took root once Bird signed on as director and hired McCanlies to write the screenplay in 1996.
The film was created traditionally with computer-generated imagery used to animate the title character and other effects.
The understaffed crew of the film completed it with half the time and budget of other animated features.
Michael Kamen produced the film's score. Bird's original temp score, a collection of Bernard Herrmann cues from 1950s and 60s sci-fi films, initially scared Kamen.
Believing the sound of an orchestra is important to the feeling of the film, Kamen decided to comb Eastern Europe for an old-fashioned sounding orchestra and went to Prague to hear Vladimir Ashkenazy conduct the Czech Philharmonic in Strauss's An Alpine Symphony.
Eventually, the Czech Philharmonic was the orchestra used for the film's score, with Bird describing the symphony orchestra as an amazing collection of musicians.
The score for The Iron Giant was recorded in a rather unconventional manner compared to most films. Recorded over 1 week at the Rodolphinum in Prague, the music was recorded without conventional uses of syncing the music, in a method Kamen described in a 1999 interview as being able to play the music as if it were a piece of classical repertoire.
Kamen's score for The Iron Giant won the Annie Award for Music in an Animated Feature Production on November 6, 1999.
Bird opted to produce The Iron Giant in widescreen, specifically the wide CinemaScope aspect ratio, but he was warned against doing so by his advisors.
He felt it was appropriate to use the format, as many films from the late 50s were produced in such widescreen formats. He hoped to include the CinemaScope logo on the poster, partially as a joke, but 20th Century Fox, owner of the trademark, refused.
Bird later recalled that he clashed with executives who wished to add characters such as a sidekick dog, set the film in the present day, and include a hip-hop soundtrack.
This, of course, was due to the concerns that the film was not merchandisable, to which Bird responded, if they were interested in telling the story, they should let it be what it wants to be.
You are who you choose to be.
The film was also initially going to be released under the Warner Brothers Family Entertainment banner, the logo for which featured mascot Bugs Bunny in a tuxedo.
Bird was against this for a multitude of reasons, and eventually got confirmation that executives Bob Daly and Terry Semel agreed.
Instead, Bird and his team developed another version of the logo to resemble the classic studio logo in a circle, famously employed in Looney Tunes shorts.
He credited executives Lorenzo Di Bonaventura and Courtney Valenti for helping him achieve his vision, noting that they were open to his opinions.
Welcome to downtown Coolsville. Population? Us.
According to a report from the time of its release, The Iron Giant cost $50 million to produce, with an estimated $30 million going towards marketing.
Although Box Office Mojo later calculated its budget was closer to $70 million.
It was regarded as a lower budget film in comparison to the other films distributed by Walt Disney Pictures.
The Iron Giant was a commercial failure during its theatrical release, resulting from poor promotion from Warner Brothers.
This was largely attributable to the reception of Quest for Camelot. After its release, Warner would not give Bird and his team the release date for their film until April 1999.
After wildly successful test screenings, the studio was shocked by the response. The test scores were the highest for a film in 15 years.
Warner had neglected to prepare a successful marketing strategy for the film, such as cereal and fast food tie-ins, with little time left before its scheduled release.
Bird remembered the studio produced only one teaser poster for the film, which became its eventual poster.
Brad Ball, who had been assigned the role of marketing the film, was candid after its release, noting that the studio did not commit to a Burger King toy plan.
In an interview, Bird stated that it was a mismarketing campaign of epic proportions by Warner Brothers. They simply didn't realize what they had on their hands.
The studio needed an $8 million opening to ensure success, but they were unable to properly promote it preceding the release.
Bird recalled suggesting that they should delay its release to promote the film, reminding the studio that they had 2.5 years to get ready for this.
Press outlets took note of its absence of marketing, with some reporting that the studio had spent more money on marketing for the intended summer blockbuster, Wild Wild West, instead.
Talk about betting on the wrong horse.
Come on, man, damn!
Warner Brothers scheduled Sunday sneak preview screenings for the film prior to its release, as well as a preview of the film on the online platform Webcast Sneak.
The film opened in 2,179 theaters in the US, ranking at number 9 at the box office, accumulating a little under $6 million over its opening weekend.
It was quick to drop out of the top 10. By its fourth week, it had accumulated only $18.9 million, far under its reported $70 million budget.
The numbers just kept on dropping as the weeks went by, leading theater owners to quickly discard the film.
Things were made even worse when executives Bob Daly and Terry Semel resigned over the debacle.
I gotta look after my investment.
Analysts deemed the film a victim of poor timing and severe miscalculation on how to attract an audience.
Although it fared poorly at the box office, in the end, it eventually came to be regarded as a modern animated classic. The Iron Giant deals with the concept of existentialism as well as the nature of humanity.
This is exemplified when Hogarth says to the giant, "You are who you choose to be."
You are what you choose to be.
McCanley's commented that at a certain point, there are deciding moments when we pick who we want to be, and that plays out the rest of your life.
McCanley's added that films can provide viewers with a sense of right and wrong, and expressed a wish that the Iron Giant would make us all feel like we were part of humanity, which is something we need to feel.
Once again, we hope you enjoyed today's episode, and a huge thank you, as always, goes out to our wonderful patrons who help support us every month.
And a great big thank you to everyone who continues to like, share, and subscribe. What was your favorite thing about the Iron Giant?
Do you have a favorite animated feature?
Please let us know in the comments section down below.
Thank you.
We love you.
Good night.
You can't come with me. My mom will wig out. That's right. So you have got to stay in the forest, and I'll bring you some food tomorrow. But I gotta go home now. So, goodbye.